Hey there, this is Jexy with the Systems Alliance, and in this video we're going to go over the biggest gaming PR disaster of 2018. And of course that's none other than Blizzard's Diablo Immortal presentation at BlizzCon. Did any of you remember this? I'm a huge Blizzard fan, and of course this is StarCraft right here. And if you bought the original game, you got a book like this. And just to show you how much Blizzard used to care back then, I mean, you can flip through it and just here, here's a bunch of the Zerg facilities, information all about them, Protoss species overview, they give a history about them and everything. Awesome drawings, I mean, check out this Marine. What a badass. This is the stuff that Blizzard used to do for its fans, and its fans carried them. I mean, they basically printed money with World of Warcraft. And Blizzard throughout the years, whether it be StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo, has just been a mainstay as one of the few great gaming companies that still exist. Or at least that's how it was. So, even after the merger with Activision, I mean, Blizzard was still putting out great stuff. I mean, StarCraft 2? Absolutely love it. One of the best things ever. Diablo 3? It wasn't as good as StarCraft, but it was still pretty cool. A lot of fun. I mean, we hadn't had a Diablo in forever. But fast forward to now, and things are looking quite different, and that whole Activision Blizzard seems to be more apt than just calling them Blizzard. So first, the weird thing about this entire PR disaster, it's almost exactly like what happened with EA when during their E3 press conference, they released the mobile version of Command & Conquer. Now, Command & Conquer, while it's a great series, is not near the popularity of a Diablo. So while they're both beloved series, both go back a long way, both have a very loyal fan base, Diablo is without question the bigger of the two. So of course you're going to have a bigger backlash to this than Command & Conquer. Secondly, it's EA. You expect them to do crap like that, whether it be with mobile games, microtransactions, loot boxes, predatory practices. That's what we've come to expect from EA. So the bar is so low. This wasn't their own special comments. This is just what they had it showcasing. And another difference is that Command & Conquer, people pretty much thought it was dead. I mean, we know EA owns them now, but I mean, they weren't doing anything with them forever. So we just kind of assumed it was dead like many other EA projects. So when they announced it was returning, people got very excited. And, they showed like 8 minutes of gameplay with just people on their phone, which is probably the worst thing you could ever have at a gaming conference. Obviously, people hated it then, but it was like, of course EA's doing that. You know what? Fine. Go ruin it forever, whatever. I mean, obviously, much hated across all of gaming, gamers, the internet, everything, but EA doesn't care. We know they don't care. They know that we know that they don't care, and they're okay with that. We're not okay with it, but it is what it is. And of course, what it shows is that EA only cares about their investors. They don't care about the actual gamers or their fans, specifically fans of Command & Conquer. And to reveal it in that way, it's very disappointing for their fans. But on the other side, as I said, they didn't care to understand their audience. I mean, why else would they release that at E3? I mean, it makes no sense. You know the audience isn't going to like it. Save that stuff for an investor call. Throw out a trailer or something. Maybe some people say, oh, hey, Command & Conquer's back. Oh, it's mobile. But when you set it up in a conference for 8 minutes, people playing it, no one wants to see that. And of course, at that time, Patrick Soderlund of EA, his response was particularly insulting. And his most offensive and insulting response to the backlash was to say that mobile is a great platform, and said that gamers, we don't really know what we want. So in other words, EA is going to tell us what we want because we're too stupid. We don't know what we want. Well, a little bit of a backlash there, and how's that going for you with Battlefront 2? Another one of the things he said is that we have to start respecting mobile as a platform. That, of course, must be a sick joke because mobile isn't a respectful platform. So why would anyone respect it as a platform for gaming? I'm not really sure. EA respects it because it brings them lots of money because they can rip people off a lot easier. But for actual gamers who don't want to be ripped off, not a respectful platform. So you would think that Blizzard, a company that used to be in touch with their audience, or I guess I should say now Activision Blizzard, since they seem to be more Activision than Blizzard now, would have learned from EA's mistake. I mean, after all, this is BlizzCon, the most hardcore gaming event, mostly with PC gamers, which, I mean, I will admit, that is the most hardcore of the gamers. You would think they would know exactly what audience they're in front of and what exactly they should be bringing to the table in any press conference or reveal. So let's set the stage here. This is the final presentation of your big event, and you always save the best for last. I mean, it's been 6 years since Diablo 3. Fans are wanting a Diablo 4, or at least some sort of in-between game that's at least great quality to hold them over, you know, something. You know, so are we going to get that Diablo 4 announcement? Is this just going to be something to hold us over? You know, hey, maybe a remaster of one of the original games, anything, just give it to us. So Wyatt Cheng gets on stage and he starts talking about mobile devices like he's some exec for AT&T or Verizon.
Our modern world is an increasingly connected one. Our mobile devices keep us closer than ever to our friends, family, and loved ones. So we knew we want to use mobile devices as the platform for a new Diablo game.
You know, he's talking about how our phones keep us connected to our friends and our family and our loved ones and all of that. And of course the audience and everyone else is going, yeah, who cares? We don't use our phones for games. Why are you talking about phones right now? We already have phones. We're not trying to buy one from you. Talk to us about games. We all have awesome PCs. We all want to play great Blizzard games on it, specifically Diablo. Right now, that's what we want to do. So why are you talking about phones? He starts to lose the audience pretty much immediately. Not something you really want as the speaker. But okay, you know, let's back up a bit. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, at least for now. You know, other publishers have started with mobile games in their own presentations. You know, keyword started, not finished. Big difference. You know, Bethesda did it by announcing, you know, mobile games before they went into Fallout 76. So, okay, yeah, the audience is not paying attention for the mobile stuff. Okay, you got them back because now you're talking about a main game for the PC and then the other consoles as well. Microsoft did the same thing by announcing their Gears Pop game before they went into Gears 5. I remember talking to my friend at the time, and he might be watching this video, but he said, LOL, Microsoft totally trolled the entire audience and everyone watching by announcing this Gears mobile game, thinking that's what we were going to get instead of a real Gears game. And then, of course, they went into Gears 5 afterwards, and we were all happy. You know, we all thought that we were getting trolled. You know, thank God we weren't. But once again, how could Blizzard not get this? Anyway, moving on. They go ahead and they show the cinematic trailer. The audience is dead. Then Cheng gets to the gameplay trailer. And graphically wise, the game looks like a step down from Diablo 3. Once again, Diablo 3 came out 6 years ago. If you're putting out a new game now, and you're trying to tell people that mobile is just as viable of a platform as PC or any of the consoles, it can't look worse than a game that's 6 years old. And yet, it does. And of course, this is what people expect out of mobile games. This is one of the many reasons why people don't respect mobile games. And this is why no gamer wants a Diablo game on a mobile device. Another thing to add, so Blizzard is developing Diablo Immortal with a Chinese company called NetEase. And NetEase publishes mobile games already. And somehow Diablo looks almost identical to another one of NetEase's games, Endless of God. Not only in graphics, but also in interface and gameplay mechanics. And come to think of it, that game was also called a ripoff of Diablo to begin with. So is this the epitome of laziness? So your brand new, supposed to be show-stopping product is a reskin of your own game? Not to mention NetEase's own terrible history with regard to loot boxes, microtransactions, pay-to-win schemes, and gambling mechanics. Now Blizzard says that they, in their partnership with NetEase, have built Diablo Immortal from the ground up. Well, I haven't seen the code, so I can't say that they haven't done that. But if what they're saying is true, the only thing I can say is that it looks like a reskin. So ground up or not, it looks the same. That's definitely not something that's groundbreaking at all. And definitely not something you put as your crescendo to your entire conference. And I feel bad for Wyatt Cheng. I mean, just look at how uncomfortable he is during his own closing. You know, I really feel bad for the guy.
For those of you who are here at BlizzCon, thank you. We are going to have... Sorry.
It's definitely cringeworthy to say the least. So during all this, they decide to host a Q&A segment where they interact with the audience, and obviously their audience is hardcore PC gamers, Blizzard fans. And keep in mind, with any sort of business, doesn't matter what it is, number one, you should have a good read on your customers. And after all, this is BlizzCon, for God's sake. So if you don't have a good read on your customer by now, I don't even know. And number two, you need to be able to handle tough questions if you're hosting a Q&A. That's just standard. You need to have an answer for everything. You need to game plan this. You should know what they're going to ask. And at the very least, you need to adapt when they ask something that you didn't plan for. And number three, in the business world, it can be pretty ruthless. So if you can't handle the heat, you shouldn't be hosting a Q&A. And if you are, like I said, you need to know how to respond. Now, obviously, Blizzard went 0 for 3 here and struck out swinging wildly while falling down the batter's box. I mean, that's the only sports metaphor that I can think of for this situation. So let's go ahead and check out the first question by a fan.
I was curious, I see a lot of mechanics that we've kind of been begging for in Diablo 3 in this. Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
This is a pretty decent softball question from a caring fan. He actually compliments them first by saying how he can see in the trailer that there's gameplay mechanics that they've been wanting. You know, fans are actually asking for this stuff. Hey, you put them in. Hey, you know, good job, pat in the back. Way to go, Blizzard. And of course, then he asked the obvious question, is this playable on PC? I mean, we're right smack in the middle of the age of crossplay. I mean, with Fortnite, you can go ahead and play on PC, mobile, including iOS, Android, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation. This game, Diablo Immortal, looks no more graphically intense than Fortnite. So yeah, this game, yeah, can we play cross-platform on everything? I mean, that would be pretty cool, right? It's a totally reasonable question. And of course, the answer is no.
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
So here come the boos. And Chang's reaction of shock and surprise is the only surprising reaction in this whole video. How could you not expect boos after giving that kind of an answer? And what that shows exactly is how out of touch Blizzard really is with their audience, especially at BlizzCon. How can you be out of touch with the only audience you really have? I mean, that's insane. Now play the response.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
You can play on your tablet too.
So your response to the audience is to tell them you have phones, right? Now that's just pretty insulting, and at that point you're actually getting close to getting into an argument with your own fans at your own conference. And keep in mind, these are people who paid money to you to come see you put out a great product, and you didn't deliver. You know, there's a reason why there's the saying, the customer is always right, and taking jabs back at the audience when you're in the wrong is not the way to go. You know, it reminds me of EA execs dealing with gamers telling us that we don't know what we want. You know, that's what it sounds like. And since EA is like the #1 most hated company in America, you know, maybe next to, I guess, Bank of America and Wells Fargo and companies like that, it's not a really good sign. You know, the audience is like, yeah, we have phones. What's your point? We don't want to use our phones to play Blizzard games. We want to use consoles and PCs to play Blizzard games, mainly PCs. And yeah, we want to use it to play Diablo. We don't want to use our phone to play Diablo. Now, check out this next guy's question.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No, it's a fully fledged Diablo experience on mobile, which everybody will get to play, and hopefully which will bring new heroes to Sanctuary, as well as welcoming our community back into it, and something we're very excited about.
Now, of course, this guy is quickly becoming everyone's hero, basically asking the question of what everyone was hoping. You know, is this all a joke? Please say yes. Now, many people thought how he asked it and what he asked was uncalled for. They're saying he was rude, they're saying he was a jerk, all that stuff. I think Blizzard needs to hire this man. If Blizzard were smart, they'd hire him. Just like when someone goes in and hacks Microsoft or Google, they go ahead and hire that person, because it sounds like that person should be working for them, teaching them a thing or two. If you had at least one hardcore gamer working at Blizzard in a decision-making position, you wouldn't have had this mess. And the reason you don't have this mess is because then this announcement straight up does not happen at BlizzCon. It's the wrong platform and it's the wrong audience. I mean, you can't get a worse audience for announcing a mobile game at. Like I said, a mobile game is what you tell your investors. You know, you don't want to put a bunch of fanfare behind it because fans don't want it. Maybe your investors want it. Great. Okay, cool. Let them have it. I mean, the reaction online, the dislike ratio, which is the most crazy thing I've ever seen in my life in terms of YouTube and a like and dislike ratio. I mean, 4% like ratio, that's insane. That's the lowest I've ever seen. There's a reason why the audience is cheering this man's question.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No, it's...
And this is what Blizzard should have expected as a reaction when they put crap like this out there. And I will say that the Blizzard employee on stage, his reaction to the comment was about as good as it gets. I mean, it's a slick corporate response, and really what else can you say in the face of that but what he did? But here's the thing, for people saying that this fan went about it in the wrong way, keep in mind that the people attending BlizzCon aren't just some randoms off the street, you know, just interacting with the devs and roasting them. These are paying fans. You know, look at any sporting event. If an athlete does something really, really, really bad, I mean, I can't even think of anything that would be the equivalent of this in sports. Maybe it being 10 runs in the 9th inning of a baseball game and allowing 11 straight home runs. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. That's never even happened, but that would be the only equivalent I could think of this disaster of an announcement. But guess what? They'd get booed. People would call their names. People would be angry. And they'd be upset because they're invested fans who want their team, or in this case a brand, to succeed and put out winning games. They want great winning entertainment, and with BlizzCon, this Diablo announcement left their fans feeling cheated and upset, and they have every right to be. And just so you know, his question wasn't any harder than what you'd find in a corporate boardroom, nor was it asked with any less respect than if you came at an executive with this terrible of an idea and what their response would be. That I would hate to hear versus the way this fan asked the question, because it wouldn't be nearly as nice as this fan. He didn't attack the guys on stage, he was just very straightforward. And yeah, there was a jab thrown in there, but once again it was less insulting than what Blizzard did with their Diablo reveal. So IGN caught up with Chang afterwards, and he mentioned that I don't think that mobile should be a dirty word. But as I said before, the reason why mobile is considered a dirty word among gamers is because mobile gaming is dirty. It's full of microtransactions, it's full of predatory practices with loot boxes, gambling schemes, pay-to-win platforms that are so bad that governments are getting involved and starting to shut some of that stuff down. And once again, his response shows a clear disconnect between a company and their customers. Again, this backlash would not be so bad, and the audience exchanges would just be a footnote if they had decided to announce, say, Diablo 4 at the end instead of putting this at the end. All they had to do was flash the title of Diablo 4. Not that difficult, but they didn't. And what that shows to me is the really terrible, poor planning that went into setting up this entire conference. These guys should have gone first with this Diablo announcement, definitely not last. And whoever set this up really left them hanging out there. I liken it to the ending of a movie. So if you have a movie and the whole movie is pretty decent, you know, decent movie just all around, but the ending is like the worst ending ever, that's all you're going to ever remember. That's all you're ever going to think about when someone mentions that movie. That's the thing that's going to stick in everyone's mind until the end of time. And what happened to saving your best for last? I mean, there's a reason that's a saying, and everyone knows it. Well, I guess everyone except for Activision Blizzard. So this is easily gaming's worst PR disaster of 2018, and it's right up there with EA and DICE's debacle with Star Wars Battlefront 2. In terms of backlash, both of them are just terrible. And once again, this is BlizzCon, a venue for almost 100% hardcore PC gamers. So the fact that Blizzard did not see this reaction coming from this announcement, I mean, the disconnect between them and their consumers must just be massive. So anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. I don't even know where to begin. Just let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you later.